There are places in America where the silence feels intentional. Not peaceful, not empty, guarded. In the vast deserts of western Utah, there is a stretch of land so isolated that even satellite images seem reluctant to linger. No visitor center, no guided tours, no stories told out loud. For decades, this place existed with only one unspoken rule. Do not ask what happened here. Its name is Dugway Proving Ground. Dugway was not built by accident. In 1942, the United States was at war, not just with armies, but with uncertainty. Military planners were searching for a location that could disappear from public consciousness, somewhere vast, empty, and easily sealed off from the rest of the country. Western Utah offered exactly that. Hundreds of miles of flat, lifeless terrain, minimal population, predictable winds, and above all, distance. Distance from cities, distance from questions, distance from consequences. Dugway was designed to be a place where experiments could go wrong without witnesses. For years, Dugway was barely acknowledged. It did not appear in travel guides. It was rarely mentioned in newspapers. Even nearby towns knew little about what went on behind its fences. Officially, Dugway was a testing facility. Unofficially, it was something far more sensitive. Here, the U.S. military tested the limits of chemical and biological warfare, not on battlefields overseas, but on American soil. Everything about Dugway was built around containment. Long runways, isolated test grids, specialized laboratories sealed behind layers of security. Nothing was meant to leave. Unlike conventional weapons, the dangers tested at Dugway left no visible scars, no craters, no burning ruins, no explosions caught on camera. Instead, the weapons here attacked silently. Nerve agents, aerosolized toxins, biological particles designed to move in the wind. These were weapons that did not need to be seen to be effective. And Dugway became the place where scientists asked questions they could never ask in public. What happens when these substances escape? How far can they travel? How quickly do they kill? And most importantly, how deniable can an accident be? In March 1968, Dugway's silence cracked. Downwind from the base, ranchers began finding their livestock dead. Thousands of sheep collapsed across grazing lands. No gunshots, no predators, no visible injuries, just bodies. The deaths were eventually linked to a nerve agent test conducted at Dugway, one that had gone farther than intended. The explanation was brief, the acknowledgement reluctant, the apology carefully worded. No one was punished, and Dugway continued operating. After the sheep incident, Dugway did not shut down. Instead, it became quieter. Testing procedures were refined, documentation tightened, public visibility reduced even further. But the nature of the work remained the same. Open-air tests, simulated attacks, release scenarios designed to measure exposure on a large scale. The desert was still considered an acceptable risk, because the desert, unlike cities, could not complain. Thousands of personnel passed through Dugway over the decades. Scientists, technicians, military staff. Most signed documents they could never discuss. Many left with questions they could never answer. Some spoke later of strange illnesses. Others remembered drills that felt too real, too rehearsed. But official records remained clean, too clean. As the Cold War intensified, Dugway's importance grew. This was no longer just about testing weapons. It was about preparing for the unthinkable. What if an enemy released chemical agents over American cities? What if biological weapons became invisible battlegrounds? Dugway became a rehearsal space for scenarios no one wanted to imagine publicly, and every rehearsal required realism. Today, Dugway Proving Ground still exists. It is still active, still restricted, still largely absent from public conversation. Technology has changed, language has softened, but the core mission remains shrouded. Testing, preparation, silence. The desert has kept its secrets well. Dugway was never meant to be remembered. It was designed to function, not to explain itself, to test, not to justify, to operate beyond public awareness. And perhaps that is why it remains so unsettling. Because places like Dugway raise a question that has never been fully answered. If this is what was allowed to happen in the open desert, what experiments were considered too dangerous to even acknowledge? And if Dugway was only one location, how many others were never discovered at all?